Fencing. It's more than a sport. It's a lifestyle. It's more than something that you do. It's your life. As a fencer, you never truly stop fencing. Everything that you do is for training. Everything that you do with your hands, with your feet, you do with the full knowledge that it's going to affect the way that you fence. Fencing has changed over the years. You used to have real swords with buttons on the tips to protect from actually killing one another. Now it's all electronic, with electronic scoring and circuits that get closed and open. You can tell who scores first. But at its core, fencing is still one-on-one. It's about victory, defeat. I love fencing. There's so many ways that I can't describe why I love fencing, but I'm going to do my best to try. When you fence, you almost enter another reality. Time slows down. It's you versus another. One-on-one, with only one victor and one loser. Fencing has an amazing history. Fencing has wonderful ethics and just a mindset that is unlike any other sport. I hope to share some of that with you in just a few moments.
Aldo Nadi once said, "I am more than ever convinced that from a fencer's point of view, a duel is inconclusive. His is a sport of skill, not of kill. To win a bout, he must accumulate a sufficiently large score to offset the occasional lucky touch that can be made against him by any opponent." Aldo Nadi won all three weapons. He was the champion in all three weapons in 1920. No one could beat him. Yet, when he was forced into a duel when he was 24, he was nearly beaten. Not as a fencing match, not as a bout, not as a sport, but because this duel was for honor. This duel was a duel. Fencing has changed over the years. From the courts of France, of Italy, Spain, Russia, Germany, there developed the small sword, the épée, the foil, all designed to kill, to injure, to wound. Fencing here in the US has never been that way. Here in the US, we've always concentrated on the sport aspect. And the sport aspect of fencing is what Americans are good at. It might be a shame to say that Americans don't have the sense of honor that even the French do, or Germans, or Italians, but as we showed in the Beijing Olympics, we are fencers in our own right. As a fencer myself, I can tell you that fencing is not about hurting, not about injuring, not about trying to kill or debilitate my opponent. Fencing is about the sheer joy of victory, one-on-one. But at the end, you shake hands, you congratulate the victor, you congratulate the loser on how well they did. Fencing is a sport, and it's one that I love. The sport of fencing developed from dueling. Dueling used to be the way that men settled disputes of honor, and it was quite violent. You started out with a small sword, which eventually developed into the foil today. The small sword was used primarily as a weapon to kill, one-on-one, in a duel, the target area is the torso, front and back, because that's where the vital organs are. This sport was discouraged after a while. Not sport, this practice was discouraged in France because all the nobles were killing each other off. This led to the development of the épée. The épée developed into the sword that I hold here today. The épée has a triangular blade with a groove in the top. Today this groove is used to hold the wires for scoring. Originally it was called the blood groove. It was used because the épée was the weapon of choice for the nobles who were no longer allowed to kill each other. So they fought to first blood instead. The épée, with its triangular shaped blade and the blood groove, would cause wounds that wouldn't heal as easily, triangular wounds that wouldn't heal, and a blood groove to let the blood flow more freely. The third weapon is the saber. Perhaps the saber is the weapon that has changed the least over the years. Originally, the saber was the weapon of the cavalry. Slightly curved, the attack was based on the fact that you were sitting on a horse. You could only attack your opponent from his waist up. Today, in the sport of saber fencing, that's the target area, the waist up. It's impolite to hit the legs because then you'd hit the horse, or something like that. Over the years, as the weapons have developed, they've become lighter, they've become more supple, they've become faster. But when you delve into the roots of fencing, you'll find that today's sport fencing still follows tradition.
Fencing is like dancing, beauty in motion. When you're fencing, it's easy to get caught up in the little details of why you lost or how you lost, or get too stuck up on your win. But that's why there's etiquette in fencing. You shake your opponent's hand whether you won or lost, and at the end, you always salute them.